Here we are. I have for us. This is my 82nd birthday. I'm Michael Curran, your host. I have one of the most amazing human beings you'll ever meet. Enrique Olivares, who does so many things, but you can find out on his website, which is
eo-holistic.com.
eo-holistic.com. When I call him Messiah for fun, because I have a friend of mine who, when I told my friend all the things Enrique does, my friend said, he sounds like the Messiah. So I think we're all messiahs. I didn't want to tell him that, but now that we're on television, I have to be honest. So all of us are messiahs. We're all part, as Christians would say, we're all part of the body of Christ, and Christ is a word for Messiah. I've written down and put on the refrigerator sayings that I thought were especially interesting, that all of these have been said by Enrique Olivares. Here's number one, and then we're going to explore them, if we would like to. Treat everything like people. Wow, what does that mean?
What do you think it means?
Well, you see, this thing is tough, not easy to pin down. I think it means if I'm making my bed in the morning, I treat my covers as I tuck them in as if I was tucking in my dear friend Michelle.
Oh, that's sweet.
And for you, what would it mean?
Well, I'll tell you what I mean by it. What I mean is, in the same way that Shinto says everything has a spirit.
What is Shinto again?
Shinto is a Japanese religion.
Yes, I know the audience knows that.
Yeah, in some ways it's a little bit like Taoism, where it deals with nature and the nature of things a bit.
Great.
And I'm not. You got to double check me on that. But for sure, everything is treated as it has a soul and a spirit. It's treated with reverence and respect. So that's what I meant. Treat everything, whether it's a piece of stone or a table or a piece of cloth or an insect, even the air that we breathe, treat it as a person with that kind of respect. Understanding that if you don't have respect for yourself, you're not going to have respect for other things.
I'm just learning. I'm not even sure I've learned yet at 82 to have
I'm
respect
still working
for myself.
on it. Yeah, I'm still working on it. I think most of us are.
Do you remember, I've told you a few times in 6 years, what the root of the word respect means? Respect.
Yeah, it's expecting again.
Yes, looking again. So I've occasionally had that great gift where I meet or I pass someone at a party and they look again. I'm sure you've had this experience
all
many
the time.
times. Yeah.
All the time.
You command respect. Okay, that's number one. Treat everything, and I love the way you said there's soul in it. I didn't think of it in that way.
Well, I mean, if you're see, there's a huge separation between religion and spirituality. The divide seems to be more and more. It seems to be going greater. But that's the spiritual part of it. Is that?
Because I think everything is alive. Rocks and
same thing. Everything has a consciousness. Yeah.
The ground and the clouds and so. Oh, I see. So treating everything like people means. I do hug my oak tree, but that's not quite a thing.
It has consciousness.
Yes, hi, Okie, I say. And I think we're starting a relationship now.
Yeah. But I think that's also when people are told or taught, to fold their clothes. It's not. It makes it neat, but it's the reverence for that piece of clothing, treating it as if it has, a spirit.
A spirit,
yeah.
Because it does have. The scientists, they wouldn't lie to us. They say it has an energy field.
Yeah.
Well, I love this, though. Already you're teaching me even more.
Teaching you, I don't
No,
teach you
you
anything
are.
you don't already know.
No, I need to be reminded. The sweater, which I like, has its own alive energy field. I wasn't aware of that. Well, that's enough for the show, really. That's great. It really is. But we have more. This is all on our refrigerator. Allow healing to happen. Allow healing to happen, which means, or an example,
To you?
me again, always. See, I invited you to explain this to the world, and now I'm the explainer, at least.
Well, no. I'd like the audience to have, different perspectives.
Oh,
If you start, then when I come in with mine,
oh, good. Yes. I'm the warm-up act.
Well,
I am the warm-up act.
you're acting as a representative for the greater community.
I'm the greater community's warm-up act, and then we will hear from Dr. Q. So, I'm always very reluctant to go to the doctor and like to see if healing will happen by itself. Sometimes it doesn't. I had prostate cancer, and I waited 7 years for healing to happen, and it didn't. And I was really lucky, blessed, when I had it checked. My prostate was 80% cancer, but it hadn't exploded. So sometimes it was dangerous to allow healing to happen. Sometimes things do get... I had a dry eye this recently.
I remember that.
And I put a few drops in from time to time, but by and large, it's healing its own very self. So that's my take on this.
It's a good take. Well, what I meant by it is how do I explain this? Is oftentimes we're so busy trying to make things happen, trying to force healing, or whether it's healing in a relationship or a relationship with ourselves, whether it's a physical ailment. Oftentimes we push it and we push it and we stress to the point where now we're actually hindering that healing process. So what I mean is, to just let go. Let things marinate a minute. It doesn't mean ignore anything. I mean, certainly, make sure that if it's a physical thing, make sure that your diet is good and you're sleeping enough and doing all the stuff you should be doing. But it's about just giving it a minute. Giving it the space to unravel and resolve itself. And I don't, it's certainly possible that that what happened with you is going to happen, but it doesn't. I'm not saying ignore stuff. Let it unravel, and as you did, when you see things aren't happening, physically speaking, or even psychologically, it's always a good idea to go and see not one expert, but a couple of experts. I find that people make really, really strong decisions on the strength of one person that they went to, one authority. I think that's a huge mistake.
Yes, I was blessed to have more than one.
Yeah, it's always best to get different opinions when you're having procedures and stuff. But going back to this, it just means to give everything some space and let if you're angry at somebody, if somebody's angry at you, let it marinate for a minute. And it may work itself out, and when temper's cool, if you're angry at yourself, let it marinate a minute. Remember that that it's only like the wind doesn't blow all day. It's only like this right now.
Yum.
So many people commit suicide forgetting that tomorrow's another day. That from that moment to tomorrow, something could change, something dramatic.
And often does.
And it often does, yeah. It's funny, in my experience and in watching other people, it's in my darkest hours, and having that philosophy, give it a minute, that, things, and people come to scoop a person up before they fall into the fire. So that's what I mean.
Would any particular example come to mind?
Us.
Me.
Yeah, us is great. When this pandemic hit, a lot of therapists left the business. A lot of places closed down.
This is Body Workers.
Yeah, Body Workers. Yeah. So, just wait it out. Just do the best you can and wait it out. I'm sorry. As you already know, I'm very tired, so I'm not really keeping a straight
No,
line.
that was straight. That was it.
All right.
I do that in the mornings when I have my self-attacks,
Yeah.
telling me I'm the most disgusting human being.
Oh.
They do. They're very eloquent in their own uneloquent way. But if I wait it out, I might discover. I might feel an axe trying to chop my head off at the neck, and then I wait it out, and I can hear it saying, "Michael, get into your heart and out of your head." And then it all leaves, and I'm happy.
What I wanted to say was, so many people left the business, and now that things are cooling off, I'm becoming so busy that I'm as tired as I am right now.
Oh,
so
my.
if you just wait it out,
Wait it out.
Yeah.
And they'll come to you
Yeah.
like plain, and this is more wisdom. Plain is beautiful. And now you've been dressing very eloquently.
Well, thank you.
So now how would you reconcile that with plain is beautiful?
Well, to me, this is plain.
Oh, in some ways it is, right?
Yeah,
it's plain, it's brown.
Yeah, it's a what do I call it? It's a. I'd like to believe that it's kind of a classic plain.
I agree.
It isn't
Almost like Quaker plain.
Yeah, it isn't sparkly.
No.
Out of the thing, but it has a certain grace in its structure and in the designs.
Now, would you say that of people too? That plain-looking people are beautiful?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Even plain, simple. I like very much people who lead a simple life and present themselves simply, and there's a certain earthiness to that. These type of people tend to be, in my opinion, in my perspective, tend to be more grounded in themselves.
The old Quaker song. You sing
It's
it.
a gift to be simple, yeah.
It's a gift to be simple. It's a gift to be free.
But I disagree with that song. I disagree with it. It's not a gift to be simple. It's a gift to live simply.
Oh, we have to read. There's a rewriting great classic songs.
Yeah.
It's a gift to live simply. Right. Thank you. Love it.
To be simple leaves you gullible. You don't want to be gullible, but you do want to live simply.
No, yes.
Yeah, because simply actually is healthier for you. You eat simple. You live simply.
I think I do that.
Oh yeah.
I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. Now this is great for my. This is my 82nd birthday today. This is great. I'm too young to be old.
Ah, too young to be old. What you start, my friend?
Well, one, as my mother said, and now I understand when she hit 80, old age ain't for sissies.
Okay.
It's quite a challenge. Eyesight goes. I have a dear friend whose hearing is going. It makes it very hard for his wife to talk with him. So those are big challenges. But life is, with friends like you, life is better and better. There's an old algorithm that for each year over 50, you subtract 1 year. So if you're 51, you say you're 49. So I'm 32 years over 50, and that really makes me, according to this algorithm, 18. And some part of me, I don't know if this is true of you, feels not my physical abilities, but feels younger and younger and happier and happier. For example, I used to play basketball, and I was a good rebounder. I was 6'3" when I was younger. Now I'm down to 6. And now I play with my friend Michelle. We play, there's a game called Horse, and if you miss a shot, you get an H and an O and an O. We play Love, L-O-V-E.
Mm-hmm.
She wins almost every game but one. And and I used to be pretty good at it, but I have trouble seeing the basket and strength. And I'm enjoying it more than I did my vigorous basketball games.
Why is that?
I just enjoyed the feel of the ball, being out on a nice brisk day, the sound of the bouncing.
So you eliminated the competition.
Well, no, there is
it.
competition between us. I love to beat her, but and she's unhappy that she keeps beating me. So there is a competition.
Okay.
But I think if I was playing competitively, I still would. Now I would enjoy banging into people and missing shots or making them. But when I was younger, it was too focused on being a better player.
Huh.
And for you, I'm too old to be young.
Oh, too old to be young. Well, as you already know, I love learning. And every time every time I get to a certain point where I feel I've learned a lot about something that I'm interested in, I have something else to be interested in. For instance, for decades, I've been doing Tai Chi and Qigong and dance like that. And you see now I'm working on spinal decompression using
hanging. He hangs from the bathroom door.
Well, no, I hang from the pull-up bar, and then I have the gymnastic rings.
Yes.
So I hold myself up to.
Wow.
So now it's a whole new. I'm more involved with stretching, so I have the stretching contraption that hangs off the. I'm spending more time on my yoga cushions and more time on the floor and more time doing animal walking on all fours.
Wow. So how does that relate to I'm too old to be young?
I'm too young to be old.
I'm too young to be old. Because you're doing these things
better than young people do.
Better than maybe you did when you were young? Or?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pardon me.
Hope for all of us.
Well, I think the misconception, maybe even the lie that we're being fed is, that you're destined to get old and decrepit, and that's not true at all.
No.
That really has to do with daily maintenance and eating and whatever in my opinion whatever we're seeing with regard to the body's deterioration. Really, I feel that it has to do with the quality of our food, with the quality of our water, with the quality of our air, and with the quality of the environments that we work in. We really shouldn't. I don't feel that any of us are meant to work 40 hours a week. It really is a sort of slavery. It's not healthy. It's just not healthy to do that. So I think those are major contributors. And then of course the pressures of having to pay simply to live every day. To pay somebody to live on this earth in a room, in a house, to pay taxes just to be able to live in the city and own a piece of, I think that's tremendous stress. So, yeah.
This is related. Just because you died doesn't mean you're dead.
You first.
Well, my friend Anthony, I'm going to cry, died on Labor Day, last Labor Day. And I go to visit the place he and I used to go in the Arboretum. We sit on a stone slab, my friend Michelle and I. We see the view of the Boston skyline. And I feel, without expecting it, Anthony's presence or spirit filling the whole skyline. And the next time I went, I talked to him.
Sure.
So just because you died doesn't mean you're dead.
Yeah. Well, now we're going into metaphysics and the occult. What I mean by it is that, according to Chinese medicine, and the more I look at this, and the more we look at that whole, Satan and God thing, the more I look at all of that, the more it's clear to me that this is true. That we do actually have two souls. We have the soul that comes to life and dies with the body that is of the body. And then we have the eternal soul that stays with us and goes on.
Oh, my.
So, yeah, I mean, my parents come to see me all the time, and it's very obvious that they're there. They make it very clear that they're there. And I think that's true. I think you'll find that to be to be reported for just about everybody that's lost a close loved one.
Yeah.
Everybody will say, wow, I really felt them this day. It felt like they were right here. They'll have a smell that reminds them of. So these are the little things that tell you that you're being visited by a loved one. A familiar scent, a familiar color, just perhaps a bird that keeps chirping that for whatever reason is very close to you. You keep saying to yourself, wow, I can't stop thinking about so-and-so because of it. They make themselves known all the time. So just because the body dies doesn't mean the person's not around. Like I said, I'm in, for myself, I'm in the middle of this kind of new growth for me. It seems to me that because there's this new growth, I need more spiritual support.
Oh, my.
And, so my aunt and it's the sisters from that side. My aunt and my mom come around a lot.
Oh, my. I didn't know your aunt came around.
Oh yeah. My aunt was like my second mother.
Mom.
And when they're around, I could almost see their faces right in front of me. Yeah. And it's not that I'm missing them or anything. It's just they're around. They know that I need their support, and voila.
I find even if I mention Tony, like this moment, Tony,
sure, yeah,
he'll come.
Yeah, sure.
Might be listening. Oh, somebody's calling me. Like a phone call. This is all from Enrique Olivares. My whole marriage was mostly laughter.
That's true.
Look at him smiling. Wow.
Yeah. Well, no, it was. I mean, the dissolution of the marriage wasn't because we didn't have fun. It was a lot of fun. We're both, easygoing people. So yeah, I mean, often we're great friends, but everybody has their things, and when you're together for a long period of time, and anybody who knows this is correct, as we were talking about this earlier today, a love doesn't die. What happens is that when two people get together, they don't see the other person. They see what they imagine, what they project, they see the things that they think this person are. And then when you get to know the person, then you start to see that this is not the person you thought they were. And that's when that whole love thing starts to chip away.
Oh, my.
And then you have to really take a look at it. That's where the big compromises start to happen. Well, now I've invested all this time and all this energy, and now we've mingled our funds and we're living in the same. It turns into such a huge mess that people can't say this isn't for me, or it isn't for me anymore. And I think that was certainly the case here. But I've heard from many people that when she mentions me, it's always they always say she speaks of you in such high regard, and you speak of her in such high regard. What happened? And I said, well, we just grew apart. There's no secret behind it, and I certainly don't feel that when a couple grows apart to that extent, that it's healthy to stay together. And we both grown tremendously, afterwards. She's doing very well, has a very nice practice in Lexington. As you know, I'm working here at MIT and over in Arlington, and I've got my own private stuff going on. But yeah, we grew into stronger, more independent people in general. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Sure. Now, I'm not sure this is true, but maybe. Mark Twain said that when he was 16, he was really disappointed to find out what an idiot his father was. Same thing, he had his vision.
I feel the same way about myself. I can't believe what an idiot I am.
And then he added, but when I was 21, I was amazed at how much the old man learned in 5 years. That can you, after, I think that might be true of me and my father too, after we've been disillusioned, is there another step where we see, in some ways, they're even more amazing.
Excuse me.
Okay. More amazing than we thought.
Well, I think the thing for me is, if we're looking at my relationship, she never stopped being amazing to me. I never stopped being amazing to her. So that's not, once again, it's not about being amazing or not amazing. There was obviously something amazing between two people that brought them together. It's like I said, you just grow apart.
No, I understand that.
You take two different directions, and it's
yeah, my question wasn't quite that. Because as you say, we have an illusion of who someone is, and then we see who they are.
And then they change as we continue to grow.
Which we, of course, have over 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then can we see that the new vision of this person, like Mark Twain, his father and him, is more amazing than what we thought they were in the first place?
You're asking me a question that I can't answer. That's really a person-specific thing. I mean, there's just too many variables to give a. I would not be doing. I would not be honest and be doing not giving a response that's adequate, because there are just too many variables to say if we can or we can't. That's an individual experience.
Yes. I think maybe I've had it. I'm not sure. I think I'd like to have that. Maybe.
Well, she's more experienced than myself. My ex-wife is even more amazing than she was when we were together to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But it's still not enough for us to get back together.
That's what I was asking. Yeah. Okay. Everyone's a gift to the world. Even the messed up people.
Yeah.
Let me finish. This is all from you. If it weren't for the people we don't like, how would we know how we would like not to be? This is a hard question. What would be an example of someone we don't like and we know we don't want to be that way? Gee.
Oh, you're kidding me? So many examples.
What would be one?
There's so many examples.
One specific example.
Well, anybody who makes you feel bad and makes everybody around them feel bad, right? If somebody is always making people feel bad, a lot of people don't want to be around them.
And we don't want to be... Now, there's one particular person come to mind, however.
There's one particular person?
You don't have to say their name.
No, not one particular person. Many people. Mm-hmm. Hundreds of thousands of people I see all the time, people on the streets. Generally, the condition of humanity right now is in a place where I don't want to be like a lot of people. What
would be one, if you want to, you can ignore it. What would be one thing you don't want to be like that you see other people doing?
Indifference.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I see a lot of indifference. I see a lot of empathy and sympathy, but, even with that sympathy and empathy in place, there's still that indifference. I feel this and I feel that and I empathize and I sympathize, but I'm not going to do anything about you and your situation or stuff like that. And I'm not even going to look at it. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm not even going to address it. But that's, to me, is indifference, and that's something that they tried to teach me, but the program didn't take.
They tried to what?
They tried to teach me that. They tried to ingrain that in me, but it didn't take, yeah.
Well, this is in some ways related. everyone is contributing in his own way, why wouldn't I smile? And again, all these are words from your mouth to the refrigerator door.
Oh well, yeah, but you're not giving the context of that. Quite often, I come in or you come in and you go, "Oh, look, you're smiling a lot today." So really, that's where this comes from. So many times you've said to me, "Oh, you smile," as if I don't smile ever at all.
So what does it mean? Everyone's contributing. So can I think of some people I don't think are contributing much?
Well, I think that we've been conditioned to look at the word contributing,
Yes.
in a certain way. So there's a lot of deprogramming and reprogramming that our societies globally have to really, work on to contribute. For instance, a homeless person that has nothing shows kindness to other people that have less than them. That's a huge contribution.
Yes, I can think of my homeless friend Chip. Kindness to me.
A disabled person saves somebody from whatever, from getting hit by a car, from a child from being picked up by a stranger. It just shows kindness and a smile. Just a smile. To smile at someone is a huge contribution. You know me, I like to look at near-death experiences and stuff like that. And I like to look, within that research, there was one person who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and survived. And here's the kicker. He survived because a seal got underneath him and kept him above the water.
Wow.
He couldn't move at all. But the point of this is that he said that he took the bus. He said if one person would have recognized his pain, or even not recognized it, and said one kind word, one kindness, it would have turned him around.
Wow.
Now I had a martial arts student that I had just gotten, and this really sticks with me. It really brought that point home. And I had just gotten him. We had 2 classes together. It was Thanksgiving weekend, and he begged me to give him class on Thanksgiving. And I said, I've got a girlfriend and 2 kids at home. I got to be with my family. He shot himself that weekend. So if I would have just seen, and I recognized that he was in pain, but if I didn't recognize it enough to say, I'm going to put my family aside. And he told me that he had just broken up with his girlfriend, and he was having a really, I could smell it all over him that he might hurt himself, but I didn't take the moment, if not to say to him, well, no, I have to go, if not to give him the class to say, hey, it seems like you need to talk. If you need to talk, then we don't even have to have class, and if you want to have class and just talk, which I do that now quite a lot. If I see somebody's in that kind of a mess, emotionally, I'll take the time to say, are you okay? Do you need to talk? Do I need to call somebody? Do you, like that?
Thank you. This is people are tired of being poisoned.
Yeah, what do you think I mean?
Well, I know someone who was drinking a lot of Coca-Cola and Pepsi and stopped. It wasn't easy for him. I guess he might have been tired of being poisoned.
He's talking about me. Yeah, that was mother's milk. I grew up on that, and it is very hard.
That's hard,
especially because those sugar is a neurotoxin that our government and the people that say everything's safe. I forget that organization. They for whatever reason they're totally ignoring the fact that sugar is a neurotoxin.
Wow.
They're just totally ignoring it.
You mean artificial sugar? Or
artificial sugar is a neurotoxin. But where were we?
Well,
People are tired of being poisoned. When I said that, what I meant is that we're seeing a lot of protests. China's in the middle of a huge protest. A few. It's really all over the world. They're not really publicizing how much discourse is the word I'm looking for that's in the public. That people are just tired of, and that's what I mean. People, I think that a greater portion of the world is recognizing that the leash is closing on us. The noose is closing on us. I mean, they're quickly chipping away at our civil liberties. And the media is playing a huge part in this. Just this separation of people by saying, separative things. And that's poison. People are tired of being,
Oh my, that's very nice.
Yeah,
not
people are
just
tired.
food.
Yeah, not just food.
Wow, very nice.
I think people are being tired of having poor food, poor water, and food. But mostly, it's the whole psychological poisoning, the spiritual poisoning.
Wow.
That I'm talking about. People are starting to wake up to the fact that the almighty dollar and material things are not the end all be all. People are starting to wake up to the fact, and I think the pandemic did this, to the fact that they can live with less. So they don't need to chase that dollar, which is essentially, being more of a slave to more than one slave master. So that's what I mean, is people are recognizing the different forms of poison. And that's why I believe that we're starting to see this, this great turmoil in people. Certainly, I think that the environmental, that there's a huge environmental influence here. I mean, if the Earth isn't right, then it's not going to make us right. There's a lot of planetary stuff that's involved as well. And this is a poison that they've fed us, is that astrology, astronomy. Has no effect on us. This is a huge lie. I mean, I didn't believe it myself, but you've met Kate Rafferty, and she does esoteric astrology, and through her definitions of what the quality of each of the signs, it has saved me a whole lot of trouble. I mean, now I see very, very clearly that I have been attracted to air signs, and they're not good for Capricorn. For Earth signs. They're not good for Earth signs. I mean, it's fire in bed, but outside of bed, it's not a good match. It's not a good match. Solar flares are huge. They it's very you can look at a ton of studies that indicate that the moon influences. I mean, we're like 60% water. If it moves the tides, it's certainly going to move us.
Yes.
So these are poisons, these lies and these deceptions, that these things don't exist.
Don't influence us.
Yeah, that they don't influence.
Oh, that too.
The fact that the fact that there really are, non-material consciousness, spirits, demons, angels, all they keep telling us, they keep feeding us these lies that they don't exist. They do exist. I've seen them. People I know have seen them. I've seen them with people next to me. People see them all the time, but they, it was, hallucinations. Or people, these institutions call them hallucinations, when a lot of the time they are straight up visions, and they are the veil dropping in a person being able to see the rest of what's really going on here.
Happy. This brings us to the next. Our faith is a conversation with God. That's so interesting. I'm not sure what it means.
It's actually quite beautiful.
I know it's very interesting. Our faith, I know what it means to me. Our faith is a conversation with God. So it doesn't mean our faith is, I will be a good boy and do what God tells me.
No.
My faith is just like I have with close friends. Faith is that if we talk it, you have this, if we talk it through, I know we'll work it through. With God or people or ourselves.
Yeah, that's quite lovely. Not too far off from where I was going with that.
And tell us what.
Our faith is a conversation with God. It's interesting because a fair number of people that have experienced NDEs or near-death experiences say that when they come into the presence of, and this is of a higher being that comes to speak to them. Now, Christians will see this higher being as Jesus. Taoists will see it as a Taoist priest. A Buddhist will see it. So this, so really, it is influence generated what we're going to see. But one of the things that really sticks out to me is one of these people said to this being, "Where were you?" Or to the voice of God, "Where were you?" And this presence that permeates everything said, "I was by your side the entire time."
Oh, there's an old right.
Yeah. So
Christian, I've been walking.
Yeah.
Look behind you.
Yeah. So
yes.
and you already know that one of the things I preach at my classes, and I'm really taking a lot of time to put this out to the general public, clients, students, the whole thing, is that talking is really not that great, and written language is really not that great. I mean, these things initially came about so people could communicate with each other, but they have now been turned into tools to manipulate us with. And they've taken words, and you can see it happening right in front of us. They take these words and they give them new meanings, that suits them.
Well,
and you go,
could you think by any chance of an example?
I know you don't like this word, but nigga.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. That's not it.
I said it. I got to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've actually had discussions with young people.
Oh, could we please not go there? Please.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
No, I'd love to. Could you please?
No,
please?
I got to finish.
I'll be your
it.
best friend.
I got to finish
Please,
it.
no, not in the show. No, please.
I won't say those words again, but let me finish the point. The point is that they've taken a word that's derogatory and somehow glorified it, and because they've given it a new meaning, they think that it is a new word and has a new meaning, but it has the same effect on the body because its root
I love what you're
is
saying.
Based in something negative.
Yes, I love that.
So this is an attention trick. It's an emotional and psychological trap. So that's what
I love that meaning. So people who are using it in a new way try to hide that it has very negative.
So let me take us where I'm going. What I'm saying, and what I say all the time, is just like sound is a vibration, emotions are a vibration and a language.
Mm-hmm.
So, oftentimes people say, "Well, how do you know so much about me, about people, if you haven't spoken to them or taught them?" Because I'm listening to your emotions.
Yeah.
Okay, and once you become somewhat adept at reading emotion, their stories, fall right in front of you. Because we like to think that we're all individuals and unique, but that's not true. We're mostly all alike. We all mostly have. So I say, and I tell the public on this show, talk less, feel more. If a person's angry, you don't even have to look at them. You could feel the heat coming off of them from behind you. The best example is, when you're at a club or someplace at a large gathering, and there's somebody who really, really wants to get with you, or somebody that really, really hates you, and they're behind you and they're staring at you. You can feel that, and you'll turn around like somebody tapped you. So less this and more this. Just feel. Just leave yourself open to sensing whatever emotions these people are experiencing, and it is a language, and you'll understand. And and if people, I wish everybody would learn nonviolent communication, and I'm so glad that I met you and you introduced it to me. I think when people come to the realization that nobody can make you feel anything you don't already feel inside. Right, and you take responsibility for your feelings. I think that really kind of, puts you in a place where you can properly and more accurately know what a person is saying without them opening their mouths. That student of mine didn't have to say anything. I felt it from him, but I wasn't clear enough in myself to respond appropriately. And I think that's true in most people's lives.
You don't know who somebody is
Oh,
until the monster comes out.
I love that, what I do. I love that. You first.
Well, I didn't know me, as one of my dear friends just said to me. Your violence leaked through. And when she met me 30 years ago, her friend told her, his violence leaks through. Don't become his friend. And occasionally it did. And hurt our friendship. We're still friends. And she just told me this. But underneath my attempt to be a good human being, because I wasn't, didn't feel it.
Oh, I think that's really harsh of you to say about yourself. I don't, I think a lot of people are just bleeding out emotionally.
Yes.
I don't think anybody really means to be, but yes, go ahead.
I finished. That was it.
That's true. Yeah, yes. What I find, and what I found throughout the years, not just my own personal experience, but my mother used to say, often used to tell people, he used to watch every little thing, and I still do. I watch it. There's very little escapes my eye. But where were we? The monster, right?
You know who somebody is until the monster.
Right. Yeah. It's just what you said. Somebody can be nice to you and love you, blah, 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 but you don't know what you really got on your hands until they're so angry that they can't contain themselves.
Yes.
And then you know what you're in for.
Could you think of an example?
Oh, so you kidding me? Yeah. There's so many. Let me see if I can draw one out of the huge pool. A lot of the people at Dance New England here in Cambridge, as a matter of fact, I would say that this is a defining personality of the community, is they'll be very, very, very happy, and then suddenly they'll snap and like that. And I've had that happen with members of that community in my yoga class, where it's totally inappropriate. So although many of these people appear to be very nice people, they can switch really, really quickly.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to me. Often.
Yeah, but the degree of that is what I'm talking about. Yes, because everybody's going to do that.
Yes.
And, we're all in flux. We're only in a state of balance, and then we're in flux again. But when that monster comes out, when you get them to that point, and if you see that the person is reasonable, you can see them fuming, but they're willing to give this again, allow the healing, by giving it space and being willing to hold a conversation, not a lecture.
Now, you in the past, I was usually convinced when they came out that I was right.
I think most people are. I think that for me, that's what I'm talking about.
May the universe yield to the grace of our nature.
What do you think that means?
I mean, I have a poem called, as you know, Rotten to the Core.
Oh, well.
Yes, which was true of me. And underneath that, the poem ends, that the rot can become flowing ore. That is a loving ore. That deep inside, Anne Frank said this, deep down inside, people are good. I'm not sure I would put it that way anymore. But there is a grace in our nature that can invite from other people and the universe. I remember the story of my brother who hated going to the 9-to-5 job. I've told you this.
I don't blame him.
And then one day he walked down Lake Michigan to the center of Chicago. It was a beautiful day, And he felt so good, he walked in the morning and said, hi, Enrique. And at lunchtime he heard people like you say, wow, he's really a nice guy. I had forgot all his grouch for 3 months. So people can yield to the grace of our nature. And for you, what would that mean?
For me, what I was describing was our original nature, our God nature, our magical nature. Again, these lies that we've been told that we're incapable of moving clouds and moving mountains and and influencing tides and stuff like that. So that's what I'm talking. I'm talking about our God nature.
Wow.
The part of us that is a particle of God. People forget that we're made up of atoms, and atoms, you see what an atom can do in a bomb. So with that perspective, that's what I mean, is that, our will can make things happen.
Wow.
That we're all, that each of us is a magician in our own right.
So we don't have time for all of this. I accept.
6 years worth? I didn't think we would.
I accept the universe and what it does to the human race. Oof. I have a friend who gets angry a lot. And I understand. She was abused by her father. So I love her, understand her. I don't like it when not so much for me, but I don't think it's helpful for her to go around judging everybody.
Well, certainly not.
And calling them arrogant, white privilege, what other words? I can't even remember them. They mean so little to me because I care for her and love her. But so I accept what the universe has done to her. She's an extraordinary person, and hope to help her not use those words. I'm talking to people, wondering why they have trouble with her.
It's temperance, isn't it? Is that what it's called, temperance?
I'm not sure, actually, but I'd like her to be...
No, you. I mean, what you're showing her is...
Oh, temperance? Maybe compassion, or... What compassion, I think. Understanding.
Okay, well, what does temperance mean? Because I may have the meaning.
It used to be meant not drinking very much.
No.
Yeah, honestly, it was the temperance movement in the United States was stop the drinking.
Yeah.
They got the amendment passed. No alcohol.
So what was the exact word
I
again?
accept the universe and what it does to the human race.
Okay, so what I mean by that is, is understanding. For me, it's about when I said it, I was in a place where I was like, look, I can't control what the moon and the stars and the planets and our planet's magnetic disruptions and what the environment that's been created with the slave environment that's been created for us. I can't control any of that, but I can distance myself to a place where I can have compassion and empathy and work within that construct.
Oh my!
So that's what I meant by that.
And maybe our last, because we only have a minute and a half. Hope I can find the exact quote. Oh yeah, there's so many of them.
6 years worth, man.
Yeah. Oh my, where is this? Well, this is what you said on your 62nd birthday. I look at my life now and I'm embarrassed by my lack of faith.
Yeah, that's a good one. You first.
We only have 50 seconds.
All right. What I meant by that, is that every time, we're going back, I think this is redundant, but every time I have pulled my hair out of my head with worry, something or someone has come and scooped me out of the gapes, out of the jaws of the dragon.
Wow. Beautiful. Well, on that happy note, any final words to give? We have only 25 seconds to our audience.
Yeah, practice, please. Practice sound work. Sound work is really the best way. These sounds are associated with our emotions, and we can move that sound. We can move it around depending